Hello, I'm William Broom and you're watching the panel shows Hear the Music. And on today's programme, we have got Matthew McNeilly and Amelia Richards from Nearly Rich. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, Matthew, you originally come from New Zealand and you come from Kempsey. Yes. How did you both meet?
Well,
I love this story.
Yeah. It's a bit of a cute meet, as they say. I was on a scholarship to the Academy of Country Music in Tamworth, and Amelia was also attending, and we struck up a friendship while we were there. And Amelia actually had a boyfriend at the time, and he was
True story.
surgically removed shortly after the
We've all been
academy.
there.
Yeah. And yeah, so we went through the course together in Tamworth, and then Amelia sent me a message via Facebook saying I'm coming to New Zealand. So I thought, well, I better clean up my flat that I had at the time, and
Yes.
and then yeah,
I got my man.
You got your man. So tell us a bit about your music.
Yeah, so we both grew up on more traditional side of country music, but we do love the more modern stuff too. So we try and put those two together, and Matt does have a really cool saying about this.
Do I?
Yeah, it's like we bring the...
Oh, it's sort of it's a modern package with an old soul.
Yeah,
I think it's probably the best way to.
It's kind of a bit of fusion from the old and the new.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we do tend to write a lot about our own life and people around us. So we get inspiration from not only ourselves, but our friends and family. And it just makes it more real, more just easier for the general public to relate to it.
Can you tell us a bit about the passion behind your music, Matthew?
Yeah, for sure. I think for most musicians, it always comes from your family and that sort of background. I remember being really young. I used to live in the mountains back in New Zealand, and I remember like having all the pots and pans all over the floor and banging away. So I think it was almost like a genetic thing, and listening to all those old records. My dad would listen to a lot of Slim Dusty and Johnny Cash, and my mum would listen to the Beatles and David Bowie. So so I had a really good musical upbringing, I feel. And then just playing music, it's just that high that never fades, like it's every time you hit the stage and have a good gig, it's just a great buzz every time. So yeah.
How about you, Amelia?
Well, I'm a bit the same. We both grew up around talent quests and country music. My family listened to a lot of Slim Dusty, so we listening to that, I sang a lot of old traditional country music, went into the more modern stuff, and just always my passion. Music was always my passion. Said to myself at school, I'm not going to party, I'm not going to drink, smoke, anything. I'm going to be a singer, and I want to be a star one day, whatever that meant. But I, couldn't be anywhere else but here without my family.
We're still working on that.
Yeah, we are still working on that. But the amount of miles we've travelled together, I wouldn't give it up for anything. So.
Favourite memories of any concerts?
Well, I think the standout for both of us would be playing at the rather prestigious venue that is the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. We were part of the Australian contingent for the Americana Festival, which was amazing. And I remember the moment that I remember the most, I think, was we were playing a song that we'd written for our last record, and there was this lady from Texas sitting in the front row with just tears streaming down her face, and I don't know, there's nothing quite like moving somebody to tears with your music, and
well, you've touched them, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And that was definitely a standout. I mean, literally 2 nights before Garth Brooks was sitting in the same seat, so that was.
Was it still warm?
Yeah, well, there was. We're a similar build, I feel, so there was definitely it was definitely comfy. Put it that way. Yeah.
What about you? Any favourite memories?
Yeah, so when I was 16, I went to my first Brooks and Dunn concert, and ever since then, I said to myself, I want to be singing in a massive massive venue and just to thousands of people. Well, we've come a little close to that. Every time we go back to New Zealand, everyone thinks Matt's a rock star. So we get, 400, 500 people at our gigs, and they're all singing to our songs. And that's one of the best things for a songwriter and a musician, to see people in the crowd, that amount of people singing to your songs.
Do you find Australian and New Zealand audiences are different?
Not really.
Yeah.
I think if you've got that vibe and people are having a good time, it's an international sort of feeling, I guess. But I haven't really noticed a massive difference. Maybe just the accent is a bit different,
Yes.
We haven't been asked to do a shoey in New Zealand yet, so we might have to educate them on that.
So you don't find New Zealanders maybe slightly more reserved in any way?
Not the shows that we've played, anyway. Yeah, we've had some pretty wild gigs over in New Zealand. So yeah, but it's the same thing. You get younger audience members, you get older audience members. It's pretty much the same, really.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Kiwis and Aussies get on so well.
Who inspires your music?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I'll go with you, Amelia.
Many people, just superstars like Keith Urban and Casey Musgraves, Dolly, all those kind of people. But it's mainly just, like I said before, like our lives, what we've done, what people have done, what they've told us about. Real life situations make great songs. So that's what I find we write a lot about. What about you?
Yeah, I think, obviously we've got our heroes, past and present. But I think too, like when you're involved in the industry, you take a lot away from the other artists that you work with.
Yeah.
And, we've played in America, with Nashville, LA, and I can say quite confidently that New Zealand and certainly Australia, we have a very proud heritage, I feel, in country music here. And now, especially in the last year, it's really sort of turned a corner and becoming sort of more mainstream and more popular, and which I think is for the best. And yeah, I think, on that stage we can certainly hold our heads high.
And what inspires your music, or the themes for your songs?
We always write love songs in different ways. It's kind of weird.
Isn't country always about breakups?
Well, it's quite funny. Like, it is about love, but our very first song we ever wrote together was about love, but living together, the situation. So it was called Love Hate Kind of Thing. And it is definitely a love hate kind of thing when you're living, working, and breathing under your partner.
24/7.
24/7. But yeah, mainly just love for music, love for people, and But yeah, there is the odd sad song that we do write just to try and
And we've got a few, like we've just recorded our latest album, which we're releasing some singles and stuff for that. And we've written gone for a few different themes on there. Like we've got a real, so our next single is going to be like a real honky tonk sort of thing, like a modern honky tonk. And then we've got like another song on there, which is a real like anthem. It's all about your own town and being proud of that. So yeah, we're definitely branching out a little bit. So yeah.
And we're going to play one of your singles on the show today. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so when we write with Troy Kemp and Jeremy Barnes, we always go in there and write about 4 songs in a day. And this is, I think, about the 4th song that day.
Yeah.
4 songs in a day?
I think we got to 5.
Does it just flow?
It does sometimes.
It does, yeah.
It's some days you just hit a wall. And sometimes like you go in with a really good idea, or they've got a really good idea, and the song basically writes itself.
So do you get the lyric or the tune first? How does it work?
Every song's different. This time I think it was the title.
It was the title that really. So the song's called "Hey You," and it's all about star-crossed lovers that have come together by fate. But once we started doing the video clip, it sort of took on a Bonnie and Clyde sort of thing. So and we had a hook, and I think Troy had the hook actually. I shouldn't take that away from him. And Jeremy Barnes is a great guitar player, and he came up with some interesting melodies and stuff, and it just wrote itself pretty much.
Well, here it is, Neely Rich and Hey You.
Hey boy, I'd never seen you before, but you got my attention walking through that door. Hey boy, I never thought that night would be the first one of the rest of our lives.
Hey girl, when you came around, I was running with the devil in the wrong crowd. Hey girl, you turned me on a dime. There ain't nothing I'd change, be the same each and every time. Keeps racing by, we brave the weather, we're so better still together all this time. Still on our side, 'cause we got the rest of our lives. Hey you, let's hit that open road. Drop the old top down, crank up the stereo. Leave the city lights in that rearview mirror. Hey you, take a long leap of faith, do what we gotta do. I'm ready if you're willing.
Hey boy, there ain't no safe bet, but I'd rather roll the dice and live a life of regret.
Hey girl, I used to be the kind to never take a chance, just let them pass me by, but not this time. Keeps racing by, we brave the weather, we're so better still together all this time. Still on our side, 'cause we got the rest of our lives. Hey you, let's hit that open road. Drop the old top down, crank up the stereo. Leave the city lights in that rearview mirror. Hey you, take a long leap of faith, do what we gotta do. I'm ready if you're willing. Hey time keeps racing by, we brave the weather, we're so better still together all this time. Still on our side, 'cause we got the rest of our lives. Hey you, let's hit that open road. Drop the old top down, crank up the stereo. Leave the city lights in that rearview mirror. Hey you, take a long leap of faith, do what we gotta do. I'm ready if you're willing. If you're willing. Hey
That's Hey You here on the panel shows Hear the Music. And of course, my guests are Amelia Richards and Matthew McNeilly of Nearly Rich. What an amazing song. And that film clip, tell us about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're very proud of that video clip.
Yeah, we sat down with Click Productions, who shot the clip, and we thought about the song, and we didn't want to go for the typical two people meet in a bar and fall in love, you know, snorefest. So we thought we'd go with something a bit more Bonnie and Clyde, and yeah, so we thought, you know, Bonnie and Clyde meets Blue Heelers was what we were going for.
And you ran with it.
We ran with it. So
We did. It was
and I
the
got to dress
funniest-
up as a cop, so that was
It was the
Even
funniest
better.
day of my life. Oh my gosh.
it was a lot of fun. We had great locations around the Central Coast and Newcastle and stuff. So yeah, it was awesome.
What's been the general reactions to your performances?
I find that it's all ages that enjoy the song, which is great. That's what we're after.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, as young as, 2 years old to, to the older generation, I find everyone's been streaming it, everyone's been looking at the video. It's, great reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night we finally got someone to request it on a $10 note, so I was pretty happy with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Great business sense.
He's been trying for a long time to get that.
So,
What advice do you have for budding artists?
get a job.
No.
Look,
Just,
I think my advice to anyone that wants to have a career in music is just dive in. If you want to make a real go of music, it has to be the only thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, really. And I mean, that's what we eat, breathe, and sleep music. Whether it's writing, performing, and then there's all the background stuff as well. Like you've got to run it like a business, so you have to take it seriously if you want to make a go of it. If you want to just get into music, I would say, hey, get amongst it. But if you want to make a career out of it, you've really got to be dedicated, and it's tough out there, man. It's a brutal industry.
Absolutely. What about you, Amelia? What advice?
Especially from my childhood, you cannot be sensitive in this industry. You will get cut down sometimes, told things you don't want to be told. But at the end of the day, you take what you want and you run with it, and you do what you do. We always say, just do you, because that's exactly what you have to do.
That's what you got to do.
To make the crowd enjoy.
And you do your best, don't you?
Exactly. It's, we used to try and make the, just please the crowd. And now we just decided, let's do songs that we like to do, and let's see if people enjoy it. And every gig now is...
And it rubs off on the audience.
Yeah. So, and we enjoy it.
What have been some of your biggest challenges, Matthew?
Well, I think obviously moving from my home country and leaving all of my friends and family, that was definitely a challenge. I think too, to play music that you enjoy playing and feel as part of who you are, versus just doing what the industry want you to do, that's a challenge within itself. I think you've got to stick to your guns, and and I think that's a challenge for any artist to take on, for sure.
What about you, Amelia? What have been your biggest challenges?
Well, I think definitely when Matt did move over, learning to live together, learning to play together, it's tough going from on your own to having to rely on someone at the same time as yourself. But I think just getting to know each other and getting to know what we do on stage. But I always say to Matt after every gig, I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else.
Yeah, that's right.
But definitely getting to know Matt and actually figuring out how he does things and
I'm a
working
challenging person.
You're a challenging person.
Yeah,
there is a chemistry
That's-
there.
yeah,
And somehow it works.
That's right.
It definitely does.
What advice would you have given to yourself when you were starting out?
Don't take anything to heart. Yeah, because I did, and we've had some tough challenges together. But it's not just in the couple sense. It's in the the industry. They tell you things that you don't really want to hear, but you have to be tough to be able to survive in this life anyway, not just the industry. But yeah, definitely be strong. Yeah. Be strong and don't let anyone intimidate you.
What about you, Matthew?
Practice more, play more guitar and less PlayStation. Yeah. I think
could
that's,
say that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I said before, you got to be dedicated to your craft, and and I think the other thing too is take every opportunity. That's a big one. And I mean, we've certainly taken that advice on ourselves. So yeah, just take every opportunity you can and practice more guitar.
Because you've done the hard graft.
Yes.
But you just have to switch on the TV and there's a new TV talent show.
Yeah.
Do you think they hinder the industry? Do they do it any good? Do they help musicians?
Look, I think the thing with the talent shows is if you can win it or at least get onto TV, you can use it as an amazing tool for yourself. And I think for musicians already in the industry who know how it works, it could be an amazing opportunity. But I feel that if you're a bit of a punter that can sing or just has that lucky break with that, I think it would be very overwhelming.
What about you, Amelia?
Yeah, I think you just take what you want out of it. So if you do try for that kind of thing, take what you want out of it. It's a great experience. We've definitely had an experience recently, and we've met so many great people, and we got to sing in front of some awesome musicians and judges and that kind of thing. And so, you know, it's fun. It's just something different.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Music obviously takes up a lot of your life. You've dedicated so much of your time to it. But outside music, surely you've got some passions and interests, Amelia.
I think I know yours.
I've got a couple, but
Yeah.
yeah.
As people say, family. I do love my family. But I think it's just, music is such a big part of my life that I try and do things outside of music to relax. So, you know, I'm very boring. I'm much like, I'm a little grandma. I love my puzzles and hanging out with my family and just, you know, doing, go to bingo, that kind of thing. But Matt's, I reckon, is the PlayStation.
Yeah, I like video games. I'm a bit of a nerd, to be honest. Yeah.
Actually, one of our biggest ones at the moment is Lego.
Lego?
Yeah.
Ah, that's very popular right now.
Yeah, that's right.
We love
I'm
it.
hearing a lot about that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Star Wars Lego.
Yeah. Yeah, I like video games, but I've actually taken up golf.
Golf?
Recently. Yeah, me and my brother-in-law, I'm a terrible golfer though, like really bad. But but it's good fun and it's a good way to. It's like the most infuriating way to relax. So yeah, it's good fun. So.
I'm very curious because you work and perform together. If you've had an argument before a performance, how do you go through with it?
You fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, it's.
No.
We actually get asked that a lot, but I mean, we don't often have arguments before the gig. But I think if we ever do, it's a job, you know. You have to get out there and make the people feel good, and by the end of the first couple of songs, we don't know what we were arguing about anyway. So.
Or it's just we argue before and then we do what we have to do and we come back and we keep arguing. No, it's fun. Being husband and wife, it's a lot of fun to play together and yeah, we do even argue on stage sometimes.
No.
But it's quite funny. Like, what song do we sing next? And everyone's like laughing at us and it's like, well, that's just us.
Yeah.
What I find with country music is the songs tell a story.
Yeah.
How do you remember the lyrics? Is there a trick?
That's actually the hardest part, I find, because especially with your own music, because a way to learn a song is obviously to listen to a song a lot and you learn the lyrics that way, but we hardly ever listen to our own music, you know, for leisure, put it that way. So, I don't know, I think it's just repetition. That's the only way that we just sing it over and over again, and you know, hopefully it sticks. And I think too, like you said, the songs do tell a story. So if you kind of think about it from that point of view as well, and sort of think of it almost logically, like what would come next in the story, then it sort of flows that way as
Do you
well.
ever have to make it up?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's been many times, but there was even one time, I find it very funny, Matt looks at me and he forgot the words and I forgot the words at the same time. So we're like, let's just go to the chorus.
Complete brain fart, just nothing.
Both of us.
But that's the trick, isn't it? That the audience don't have a clue.
Well, quite often, and that's the funny thing about our songs becoming more popular is more people know them. So we kind of have to be on top of our game to actually, yeah, exactly. You know, so it's yeah.
But it makes it interesting when you do forget it because people are in the crowd singing along, so we're like, we get it from them.
Yeah. It was, it's your turn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you've performed in New Zealand.
Yep.
You've performed here in Australia. Are you going to take the show on the road anywhere else?
Well, we're actually heading to Norfolk Island on Sunday. So this Sunday,
That's an
when we're
amazing
filming
trip.
this, yeah.
Wow.
So they have a country music festival over there. This is about our fourth appearance over there. So it's just a beautiful part of the world, and there's some really wonderful people over there, and they look after us so good. So,
why do you think, Amelia, that country music is so popular here in Australia?
That's a really tough question. I'm not really sure, actually.
I think because Australia has such a huge rural background, country music, connects to people who work the land, or have some assimilation with the land.
Good answer.
And and I think that's for country music in general, wherever it comes from. And now that the sort of urban country music is coming through a lot more, that sort of city cowboy country music sort of stuff is becoming much more popular.
And with the international artists coming over too, you see a lot of the city folk dressing up in cowboy boots and everything, so you know exactly who's going to the concert.
Yeah, like if there's a country artist at the Enmore Theatre, everyone that's walking down the streets are wearing hats and boots and buckles and stuff. So yeah, it's awesome.
There's a certain honesty and rawness I find about country music, and do you think that's part of its popularity? People can relate.
I think that's
Definitely.
exactly it. I think it's often about the little people. The little people. It doesn't have a lot of bling to it with country music. I think a lot of the time, and like you say, it relates to people. It tells it how it is. I guess 3 chords and the truth, man. That's what it is.
What are your hopes for the future?
Oh, arena shows, $1 million, piles of money, cars.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. Look, I think that's the dream. But I think realistically, as long as we are in a position to keep playing our music, touring, performing is our passion. So
Full-time musicians.
That's the goal.
Well, Matthew and Amelia, before you go, would you give us the pleasure and the honour of performing for us live?
Of course.
Of course.
We'll do, since it's such a sunny day outside, we'll do a song called Sunshine Good Times.
Go for it.
Cool. Wake up early, looking at a long day, nothing to do, no place to be.
Well, I grabbed my guitar and I grabbed me a shot glass and had a little fire from Tennessee. Yeah, give me that sunshine, give me them good times, hanging with old friends, letting it ride, living in the moment. Living that high life,
And tomorrow I'ma do it all again to make sure I do it right.
sunshine, good times. Can get out of town and be rolling with the top down, radio up and your shotgun next to me. We got the whole day to get a little getaway to anywhere we wanna be. Sounds like a perfect plan to me. Yeah, give me that sunshine, give me them good times, hanging with old friends, letting it ride, living in the moment, living that high life. And tomorrow I'ma do it all again to make sure I do it right. Sunshine, good times, yeah. It's cold Corona in my hand, toes tucked deep down in the sand, living, not just surviving, yes I am. So give me that sunshine, give me them good times, hanging with old friends, letting it ride. Yeah, give me that sunshine, give me them good times, hanging with old friends, letting it ride, living in the moment, I'ma do it all again, so make sure I do it right. And tomorrow I'ma do it all again, so make sure I do it right. Sunshine, good times. Sunshine, good times. Sunshine, good times. Hey!
Amelia Richards, Matthew McNeilly. Now that's what I call music. Thanks so much for joining us here on the panel shows Hear the Music. I've been William Broom. Until next time, bye-bye.